And also all this knowledge about Tantra was hidden because the people that initiated people on Tantra were the women. Also temples in India, you have those temples where they practice the Kama Sutra, and basically they are having like, I don't want to use the word orgy.
I know you're gonna say that,
but it's like how they're also doing their rituals, and all of this was repressed by Catholicism, by the Portuguese, because also the Portuguese went to the south of India. This blew my mind when I was like in Goa. I was like, it looks like I'm in Brazil, you know, because the architecture is the same. And I remember I went to a temple nearby Mumbai, and everything, all their goddess was destroyed in the name of God. The same colonialist shit that we saw happen in South America with the natives. So basically the work that we're doing here is to bring this back, to remember that actually...
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Sync and Flow, the podcast. I'm so excited to have you here. We are joined today by a special witch bitch sister, Bruja Júlia from Brazil. And we are filming this together in Berlin. We have just met a couple weeks ago, about a month ago. Yeah, a few months ago. And... yeah, it was like in August.
Oh, true.
Anyway, I'm super excited to have her here on the podcast. This woman has so much wisdom and power that I resonate with a lot, and we are both weaving similar journeys as priestesses of the divine feminine and embodying our soul's purpose to bring that forth onto planet Earth. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Yes, likewise. So yeah, maybe you just want to start by telling the audience who you are, what your journey has been, how you came to be here in Berlin. Like I said, you're from Brazil, and yeah, I'm so excited for you to bring some of this Latino flavor.
Yes, so where to start? So my name is Júlia, and I'm a body and a spiritual facilitator, I would say. I work with different techniques to help mostly women to remember to reach their power through the womb. I think we also resonate a lot with that in common. And I use different techniques from yoga, from India, yoga from Egypt, to belly dance, to what we call in Rio Brazilian twerk. It's a funk carioca as well, like pelvis release, and herbals, and also plant medicine, including florals of Bach, also in combination with astrology, different tools that I've been learning this holistic journey, because as we know, we see the body as a holistic being, and we cannot separate also from the ambient where we are. I also believe that the cultural and the place where we are also make us develop our identity as human, as a collective. So I also believe that, especially in my culture, I think in our culture as well, we come from community where, and here in Europe I see that we are a bit in an individualistic approach. So also come back to our community, to our tribe is really important for our health, especially mental health. And that's a little bit.
So beautiful. And I actually met Júlia at a woman's ecstatic dance where she was giving a twerk shop, and I was like, that woman, I need to be friends with her, I need to talk to her, I need to connect to her, because as you guys know, pussy power, twerking, pelvic activation, that is so my vibe, that's my jam, that's also what I teach and bring to this world, and it's just so powerful to meet another woman who's so in her power and sharing this with the world in such a brave and liberating and outspoken way. And yeah, we got to talk a little bit after this dance journey, and you were telling me a little bit about your story and your spiritual awakening. And it's so funny because Julia also had a health crisis. If you guys know, if you've listened to episode 1 of the podcast, you'll know that my spiritual awakening was brought on by a health crisis in relation to my womb. And so if you would like, I would love it if you could just share a little bit about your health crisis and your journey to coming to find this wisdom and find your power after going through such a disempowering experience.
Yeah, totally. I believe that this experience that I had of almost dying completely built up also the way that I was seeing the world, spirituality, and so I'll go from the start. When I was 22 years old, in 2019, I had actually this process of this disease was a process of 1 year. So it started in actually 2018. And by this time I was already pretty much in touch with yoga and also studying psychology. So I was kind of aware. But the thing is, I was in a toxic relationship. I was also feeling in a cage I was still in my hometown in the countryside of Brazil. And, in this living with my family, I was not really free. And so also I was not expressing myself as I should. So the problem that I had basically was an autoimmune disease on my throat, in my Vishuddha chakra. That is very rare actually. It's called achalasia. There's like just 1,000 cases in the whole world.
Wow.
So yeah, so until also to get into this diagnosis was a journey, and this process, it took too long, and I was already in a very advanced stage from the disease. So at the end I had to pass through a surgery, and I never had a surgery in my life before. I come from a family, my mom is very natural. I never took any kind of like pills or allopathic medicine. She was always treating me with phytotherapy or also florals of Bach and all those very natural holistic medicines. So yeah, it was a big shock for me, for my family as well.
Yeah.
And I spent 1 month in the hospital. I almost died, and I had to. So basically, this disease is where the second sphincter of the esophagus is completely closed.
Oh my god.
So I was not so hard. So I was not able to eat or drink properly. So basically, I was getting skinnier. Nobody was understanding what happened to me, and then they got diagnosis, and then they have to open me right away, otherwise I would die. I was 40 kilos or whatever. Yeah, it was very, very serious. And after this period, everything was fine. I mean, it was a big process. And I remember that in this moment that I was in the hospital, at the last days, I had this kind of choice. I saw La Muerte.
What's this?
It's like the skull. It's like the figure of the death in the Mexican tradition.
Wow.
She showed it to me, and it was very poetic, because she kind of invited me for a dance, and I told her no, I don't want to go now, So actually, in this moment of almost dying, it was kind of a choice. I couldn't have gone in this time, but I just felt no, there's something to do, something to see. And then after that, I got in touch with the medicine that I have deep respect to, the ayahuasca medicine. And in this ritual that was guided by a woman, this beautiful black woman with dreads that was living in the middle of the jungle, and she does the ayahuasca there. She has her school of magic. Her name is Vani Joya. She's also a mother of scent, how we call in Brazil. She's like a priestess of the orishas. There are the African gods. So yeah, it was very deep, and during this night I got in touch also with the ancestrality of my dad, and that's how I received the call to come to Germany to do healing work. So actually I have to pass through all this to also, as you said, to lose my power, to lose everything, almost myself, my body in this life, to be maybe ready to work,
yes.
As a healer, I would say.
Yes.
So yeah, that was the process.
Wow.
And I had visions, and that's how I ended up here.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Such a powerful story, and one that I resonate with so much, because when
we
you
have that in common, right?
so crazy.
What
Also
you had in your
2019.
womb, and I had in my throat.
Hers was in her throat, mine was in my
Yeah.
womb. So it's like so crazy. And you know, there's different layers of initiation that we go through, and there's like spiritual awakening, and then there's spiritual initiation, which is like so
like kicking your ass.
Yeah, really. So a lot of the time when we have these breakdowns, and it's like this physical breakdown, because you know, we'll have like maybe a mental breakdown, we'll have an emotional breakdown. Yeah, so crazy health crises. And the way that this has truly shaped our evolution as priestesses into this world. Cheers.
Cheers, my love.
This is banana juice.
Yes.
Yay. I love bananas. Yum. So good. Oh my god. And really, when you go through a breakdown of your body, there's nothing else you can do other than surrender, because there's literally nothing you can do to fight what you're going through. And you have to just accept that this is what's happening to you, because we so often like, we'll fight the spiritual, we'll fight the emotional, we'll fight the mental, but then when it gets to the physical, it's like, actually, what else are we going to do? What else can we do, right? And so at that level, that's when I think we truly get to meet God through the body, and we get to meet our mortality, which also reminds us of our divinity. And so I would love for you to share, how did you start to get onto this path of finding Kundalini and Tantra and yoga, and really accessing these tools of greater ancient spiritual wisdom?
Yeah, so I would say as most of those esoteric things in my life, they came through my mom. She's a very also healer witch, I would say. And so yoga, I started to practice very young, like with the age of 15, 16, and I was practicing a lot of hatha, and then in 2018 is where I went to Argentina to really live in an ashram and receive like an initiation in Hinduism, and that's how also I reached out yoga, was through spiritual initiation as well. So that's how I connect a lot with the goddess Durga. There is also Kali and Parvati, they are all one. And right now it's Navaratri, I think it ended Sunday.
Oh.
It's like the 9 days of the goddess, the Indian goddess. And that's how I started practicing Hatha Yoga, teaching Hatha Yoga. And after that, like not so long ago actually, like 3 years ago, I started to have more interest in Kundalini and in Tantra, because Kundalini, it's the most powerful way of practice yoga, because it's a very energetic approach, and it can be so intense. Like we don't need to practice every day like Hatha Yoga. It's like once a week, it's already enough, because it's just an explosion of aliveness.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And actually, Kundalini and Hatha Yoga, they are like sisters. They both come from Raja Yoga. That is one of the traditional yogas. We have 4. Raja Yoga, Karma Yoga, that is a way to practice yoga through the action of service. Jnana Yoga, that is the yoga of scriptures, like basically studying just theory. And Bhakti, exactly. Yeah. Bhakti Yoga, that is through devotion, through kirtans, through prayers and music. Yeah. So everything that we see nowadays is from Hatha Yoga, like Bikram Yoga, Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga, all this comes from Hatha Yoga. So and I think also Tantra is such a powerful tool, for example, for women with sexual trauma or PTSD. The easiest way to treat them is through Tantra, because it's all located here in the hips. You know, you cannot have like 3 hours of psychotherapy with them and be successful, because it's all storage in the body, as we know. So it's very, I think, especially to deal with the feminine, because we are dealing with the lower chakras that are close to Mother Earth, that in India they say Prakriti. and in Portuguese we say mãe natureza, madre natureza. This is the easiest way to deal also with feminine energy, because everything that we see is the goddess. God is still something that is like the great mystery, how the natives say. It's still something that is very far away from us. But the goddess, the mother nature, is how also we came to this world. We came through a pussy, we came through the womb. So everything that is tangible, it's actually feminine.
Yes. I was just reading in this Kundalini Tantra book now, like the goddess is matter. Like Shakti is matter. Everything physical and tangible that's manifested is matter. And everything that's living in consciousness and in the ether is Shiva, is God, is the masculine, right? And so really, as priestesses, this is our soul's purpose, is to remind people of this awareness and to activate and to remember. Actually, it's really about a remembrance.
Totally.
Because we all have past lifetimes from ancient societies and ancient civilizations, and so that's why when you start to practice yoga and tantra and work with these energies, it feels so familiar. It's not about getting it right or getting it wrong. There's no right or wrong way. It's just about being open to the medicine, being open to receiving the energies of the practice. And sometimes that may look one way, sometimes that may look another way, you know, so it's different every time. And that's why the beauty of the feminine is that she's always changing, she's always evolving, she's always moving and flowing, and really there's no one set way for us to understand or interpret the feminine. And I think that's why men get so confused with women, because they're like, why can't you just be one thing? Why can't you just be, okay, now I have you figured out, and then the next day you're like, oh no, we're changing again, oh no, we're a different woman, oh no, we're embodying a different archetype now.
And another thing that is really important to say is that, especially in India, and this was like hiding from women until nowadays, that's why nowadays still Tantra is really a taboo, and people, there is no many ashrams, because the only one that can transmit the knowledge of Tantra in Indian traditions is the woman.
Wow.
Why? Because it's Shakti that activates. Meanwhile, Shiva, it's meditating. Only Shakti has the power to transmit the knowledge of Tantra. And this is really important to say.
So, I had no idea.
Yeah, so like men teaching Tantra, okay, they can, but they are not really allowed, according to the scriptures, to do that.
Wow. Yeah. And men that teach Tantra are in devotion to the goddess.
Yes.
And they've been on a pilgrimage in devotion to the goddess their whole lives, and that's why maybe they teach Tantra. But it's not like for us as women, you know, and I also heard this, like we are born... There's nothing a woman needs to do to be a witch or to be a shaman or to be a spiritual being, is because she has a womb and she's connected to this. No, baby, I think it's gonna fuck out the sound.
Yeah. Okay. Because there is no. I'll just put.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. And so we rarely come into this world with so much energy and past life remembrance that we need to just remember and activate through the womb, through the pelvis, through the movement, through the dancing.
Especially the dancing,
Yeah, especially the dancing. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about dancing, because dancing is something we're both so obsessed with and has been such a powerful part of my life. Maybe you want to just share what is dancing, how do you connect with it, what does it mean to you, what has dancing helped you heal?
I think just as you, from where we're from, dance is not like something separated. Dance is like in our festivals, in our festivities, when we're together with our families, and really deep intrinsic in our culture. So in Brazil we are dancing all the time. I believe in South Africa as well, right? It's just part of the daily life, you know. So Also, there are practices, spiritual practices, including Afro-Brazilian religions like Candomblé, Umbanda, I mean, we pray through the dance. So yeah, also dance for me, in my perspectives, a way to achieve the divine. So it's not just a physical workout or just a party thing, but yeah, really something that is necessary for the well-being. And I see that in different cultures. For example, in Germany now this is changing because we are like developing ecstatic dances and sober spaces. But before, in the scene, in the club scene in Berlin, you still see that people need to be really fucked up to dance, you know.
Yes.
And we need to disconstruct that, I guess.
Yes.
Because there are healthy ways to dance.
Yeah, and someone asks here, why should we practice yoga, and what we want to say about that. It's like, we practice dance and we do these very physical activities because, first of all, this is how we awaken energy in the body, and the energy is this Kundalini. And this Kundalini is when this energy can flow freely throughout your body. This is what can actually heal the blockages of the trauma that is living in the body, okay? And so the trauma is living very, very dense in the fascia in the body. When the fascia is this micro network of, it looks like almost like spider webs in the body, and it's microscopic, and it lives in the body, and it connects our entire body. So we have like the muscle network, we have the blood network, the veins, we have the lymph, and then we also have the fascia. And the fascia is sending information throughout the body. Yeah. And so the fascia, when we go through trauma, the fascia starts to harden, it starts to get stiff, it starts to get dry, it starts to just like really harden, and it starts to form kind of like these calluses of like almost like lumps of energy and of blood and muscle that gets all knotted. And that's why you also have knots of like pain in your body, because this is from an underlying trauma, where there's emotional trauma, physical trauma, whatever it is that happened to you, right?
Yeah, it's all storage in the body.
Yeah, it's all storing in the body. And so the reason that we move and we dance is to move and awaken this fascia, and to bring more life force, to bring more blood, to bring more oxygen, to bring more lymph, because your body knows how to heal itself. And so by doing these movement, yoga, dancing practices, we allow the body to get into a state where it can more naturally heal itself through the movement of these fluids, right? So the flowing energy, and that's why this podcast is called Sink in Flow, is because the flowing of energy, of blood, of lymph, of sweat, of tears is what's going to heal you, because the reason it stopped flowing was because of that blockage. The body tenses up, it goes into freeze mode, it goes into fight mode, it goes into flight mode, right? And this creates the prevention, this creates the blockage of the energy, the blockage of movement.
Yeah.
And so when we get to flow and move, that's when the body can actually start to heal itself. It's like we don't dance because we consciously want to heal our trauma. We dance because it feels good. And through feeling good, we actually heal, right?
And that's the thing also about those practices, because we are allowing ourselves to receive pleasure finally, and we release and we heal through the pleasure, because we have also storage in our body centuries. We're talking about centuries, right? Of
hundreds and thousands of years. Yeah. This is what we're dealing with.
Oh my God. Yeah. So,
and this is why we're so passionate.
So that's why it's sometimes like an explosion, really, like, you know? And this is something else that my teacher in India used to say. There are two ways to practice Kundalini. One way is through the kriyas, that is like very gentle, like a flower opening like this. And the other way is to Tantra, it's like explosion, boom. So also when we dance, it's a bit of this, like this explosion. Also we have Shiva Nataraj, for example. That is one of the manifestations of Shiva as a dancer. Like he creates the universe in the form of a dance. So it's also correct to say that the universe was made through the sound, Om, but also through the dance, because the dance is the movement, it's the reading of the sound. The dance is the reading of the music.
And it's you interpreting the vibrations of the music, the vibrations of the people around you. It's you moving into that flow. And like Julia spoke about at the beginning of this podcast, the connection in community is also really, really important, because this is what our ancestors knew. They lived in tribes and they grieved together, they felt together, they healed together, they cried together, they made love together, they really experienced pleasure together, as well as pain, devastation together. And they knew that the nervous system of one person affects the nervous system of all.
Totally. And also when one person is one person dies or when is sick, this affects all the community. And talking about all those pressure, those centers that we women were repressed, and also all this knowledge about Tantra was hidden because the people that initiated people on Tantra were the women. Also, temples in India, you have those temples where they practice the Kama Sutra, and basically they are having I don't want to use the word orgy.
I know you're going to say that, and you're going to say
but
that.
It's like how they're also doing their rituals, and all of this was repressed by Catholicism, by the Portuguese, because also the Portuguese went to the south of India. This blew my mind when I was in Goa. I was like, it looks like I'm in Brazil, because the architecture is the same. And I remember I went to a temple nearby Mumbai, and everything, all their goddess was destroyed in the name of God. The same colonialist shit that we saw happen in South America with the natives. So basically the work that we are doing here is to bring this back, to remember that actually it's not like that.
Yeah, and to remind us that the Abrahamic religions of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism have completely forgotten about the mother. They have completely divorced religion from the mother, from pleasure, from sensuality, from the body. It's all stuck in the mind. It's all about the man and the patriarch and God as a man, right?
And this was so reinforced during the 19th century that we had this very scientific positivism where they just excluded all this wisdom that is passed through oral tradition. That is basically all the wisdom that in Brazil, for example, we had from the natives, and also from the Africans, because all the stories are oral. So basically all this was no, this is not right. And this Eurocentric vision also
Eurocentric,
exactly what creates the destruction of all this super rich culture. So that's why we are alive, to bring this back.
Yes, totally, because we remember, right? We remember our past lifetimes as priestesses in ancient goddess temples. I don't know about you, but I have memories of being a priestess in the Isis temples in ancient Egypt, and being connected to these lineages of ancient goddess worship. The ancient Egyptians, we knew that they were mathematicians, they were artists, they were polymaths, they were so profound in their use of their mental capacity. They actually used more parts of their brain than we do currently in our modern society, and that is because they were working with the Holy Spirit. They were working with Kundalini energy. They were working with the divine.
And they had also yoga. Kemetic yoga comes from Egypt.
Wow. I didn't know the Egyptians had their own form of yoga.
It's called Kemetic yoga.
Wow, Kemetic.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. And so really it's about remembering that we are so much more than just our mind. We are so much more than just our physical body. And so this is why when you tap into divine source energy, into your life force energy, remember, you are divinity. We are God embodied in human form. We are this vessel. The body is the vessel, and our spirit lives inside, right? We are not we are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience.
And our soul is so old and
ancient,
have access to this past life is also a gem, it's also a journey.
Yeah. And we in our modern society, like, we are so scared of believing in things that we cannot see or we cannot like empirically prove. But this is what feminine spirituality brings and feminine consciousness brings back to this earth, is that we can also use our senses and our body and our feelings as data points to gather research, as ways to gather information about the world, about ourselves, about, you know, our lifetimes and our experiences on planet Earth. And it doesn't all have to come through the mind. It doesn't all have to come through science, right? And so it's like we can understand that spirituality actually is its own science, right? And so all these different sects of spirituality, the Egyptians, the Hindus, the Buddhists, like, they all had their own understanding of spiritual science, and they quantified it and they made it applicable and they made it practical and they made it accessible. And so a lot about, I don't know about you, but a lot of what I know about my body and about this world, I've taught myself through literally like doing yoga and receiving downloads and like opening myself up and like praying and asking for the information and allowing it to come into my body, because pleasure also makes consciousness malleable. Like this ability to be soft and surrender.
And you gave the example of the fascia, and the opposite occurs when we like contract, when we feel fear, when we feel like those emotions of I'm not safe here,
I don't trust this information.
Exactly. Our body immediately like closes.
Shuts down.
This is the same what we have in cold countries, for example in Germany, where we have 7 months of winter. Our body gets stiff, so that's why it's really important to do sauna, to dance, to do sports, because otherwise we get stiff and our ideas also get stiff.
Yes, oh my god, I love that.
Yeah. So also like this, being too much in the head, or maybe taking the thought and the mind as a separate thing and superior to this is another wrong way to see the chakras. For example, we have all the 7 chakras, right, beyond the marma points and all the nadis, all those little channels that you mentioned is so well, that when we have blockages in the fascia, we can feel the knocks in the body. It's not right to say like, oh, there is the superior chakras and the inferior chakras. It's all about feminine and masculine, and there's no right or wrong, superior and inferior. It's just about moon and sun. Men's are like the sun and women like the moon. The natives are saying this all the time. And about respecting our roles as well into energy point of view.
Yes.
And integrate that and be balanced in both, because this is what Tantra is about. It's not about sex only. Of course there is a sex part on it, but it's about balancing the feminine and masculine within you, because we have the 2 polarities on us. And to live in this world we live in a dualistic world. We understand this world through dualism. We understand this world through binary opposites, right? It's like we only understand what night is because we know what day is. And so it's really, really important. What are you fighting for?
We're not fighting. We're loving. We're not fighting anyone. The men are fighting. They can have their
we are healing, you know. The women are healing.
We're healing. Yeah, we're healers. We're not fighters. We're lovers. We're not fighters. Someone's asking you to have babies with them.
Who is this person?
And we really are here to allow people to find this wisdom from within, right? We're not here to tell you what to do or tell you what to... We'll guide you, okay? We're going to guide you through practices from our channel, from our being, from our initiations, from our wisdom, that are going to allow you to have this same realization and find this information and wisdom for yourself. And that's the beauty about going on a journey from within, is you start to find the answers from within. And so when multiple people start going on deep inner healing journeys, and multiple people start having the same downloads and start saying the same thing in different languages or in different ways, like, there has to be some thread that is connecting all of us.
Maybe it's the mushroom. The plant medicine.
Like, I think it's this mycelium, you know, it's like this mycelium network that's like, it's living below the earth. and we can't see it, but we know it exists.
They're there for longer than us. You know?
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah, the
a
fungi
lot.
are so intelligent, and we ourselves are like also connected through this mycelial network web, you know, through the quantum field. And this is the thing.
And also, an interesting thing that I realized is that we have Kundalini, we have the snake, the dragon in the east, but also in Latin America we have it in another way. For example, the ayahuasca or the she expressed herself in different ways. Like in Turkey, it's another name I forgot, unfortunately, but it's the same life force everywhere that comes from the earth, deep in the earth, that wants to communicate with us. And if it's not through yoga, Kundalini, gonna be through plant medicine, or you know, anyhow. Maybe having experience of having a baby as well, you can have like a Kundalini awakening. But we can reach this force because it's abundant, it's there for all of us, you know, and there are many ways.
Beautiful.
And the system don't want us to know that. That's why all this processed food, this
medicines,
allopathic medicines, all this bullshit that changes our hormones and keep us like women
disconnected from their womb, men disconnected from their sex, like it keeps us shut down.
Yes, and that's why also
it keeps us dumb. Actually, it makes us stupid, like really spiritually
and all
stupid.
This porn, all this addiction to, you know, this
drugs, alcohol,
more
sex, working, like all of this.
And we need to be so careful nowadays with all this artificial intelligence, because people are becoming less human. So to come back to the humanity, come back to look to people in the eye, is really important. That we are also doing gatherings, you know, that we are together. Yes, really. And try to be the most natural as possible in our food, in our behavior, taking sunlight, all of this, because otherwise we become robots.
So true.
And you know, this happens in humanity before. This happened in Atlantis.
Yes, in Atlantis.
This happened in Atlantis, and I remember that. I was there, you know. So also we are like changing the electromagnetism of the earth is really, really crazy. Like we cannot play God like this. We need to calm down and respect her, because otherwise more pandemics will appear, more natural disasters, because it's just, she's saying like, hey, it's not the way to treat me. We don't respect our mother. We don't respect Mother Earth. We don't respect our birth mothers. Don't read this person. We don't respect the mother energy. And that starts with our relationship to the earth. And then it starts with our relationship to our physical birth mothers. And then it also starts with our relationship to our womb and to our womb space. And so this is why I feel so much resonance and I invited Julia on this podcast, is because thank you so much.
we bow down to the womb as this portal of deep wisdom that lives inside of us. And this is where we find our divinity from. We find it from within our bodies, not from without. We don't, because this is the thing, the church brainwashed us to think that God is outside of us, that power is outside of us.
And that's how it was so symbolical to meet you in that day where we were in the church dancing, you know, with our breasts out. It was so
we met at an ecstatic dance in a church here in Berlin, when we both have ancestral connections to Germany as our fatherland.
Yeah, Germany is also our fatherland.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, you're my sister.
I know, right? I mean, it's from my maternal side, but like I always say, Africa's my motherland. Like I'm sure you say like Brazil's your motherland, and then like Germany is our fatherland, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just that energy of like the north and the south. Like the south is also like much more feminine, I'd say, in the world, and then the north is much more masculine. And that's just how it is. And even in the body, like the northern chakras, the upper chakras are masculine and the lower chakras are feminine. And so really it's about realizing that we're living in a world that's in complete imbalance with in everything we see in this world. And that's why what Julia said about coming back to your most natural state of being is the fastest way to heal.
And I know it's hard in a big city. For example, we live in Berlin, but there are always ways, you know.
There are always ways to reconnect, and just simply like putting your feet on the soil, you know, and simple practices like this. Yeah, so what would be, I want to ask you, like, what are some of your practical tips for reconnecting with your feminine energy? And like this podcast is called, like, sinking back in with your natural flow and your natural energy.
I think that the base, it's like honor your cycles, because also we as women, we are not made to work 9 to 5. I know for most of people this is not an option of choice, but nowadays we need to really have at least one day where we rest. I was talking to this about this to another friend. She's also a medicine woman, but she was collapsing because she was like pushing herself so much to be productive every day like a man. And I was telling her, like, this is what is hurting your womb, because we are not made to be 9 to 5. There are days in the month that we need to just chill the fuck out. And I know for me it's also hard, but if we don't honor this, we're gonna have cramps, we're gonna have like pain, we're gonna have some kind of problem, because we're not just respecting our biology.
Exactly. And it is about biology at the end of the day. Like, women are different from men. We have different brains, we have different nervous systems, we have different hormones, we have different bodies, and our bodies are meant to operate in different ways. And we've lived too long in a man's world, and this is why so many women are sick and
also
disconnected.
The generation of our mothers, like the baby boomer generation, was the generation that was creating the world after World War II, like our grandmothers and our mothers. So also for them, they got so masculine, and this is what they teach us, like, you have to be independent, you have to work hard to get your things. But how healthy is that actually, you know? I mean, nobody told me. I remember when I had my period, nobody really told me like what was my cycle, you know. I have no idea about luteal phase, about menstrual phase, about, I mean, of course you learn this in school in biology, but was not so.
You don't learn anything in school. Like, you get told it, but it's again in a very masculine, disconnected, empirical, scientific, reductionist form, right? And this is what science has done, is it made us like see this world in very like black and white, right or wrong, good and bad.
And especially like even the science, especially talking again about this positivist science from the 19th century, where we have like Freud, even Jung. Freud used to say that the clitoris was a non-developed penis. Like, come on, we only have researches about the clitoris like in the 90s.
2005, babe.
2005. Like, what the fuck, you know, like, what the fuck.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And even also the pharmaceutical research that was done on women, and the medical research that was done on women. Like, before, they would just study men, and then they would just say, oh no, women are just like men. So like, women are just little men, or like little boys, right? So then,
what the fuck?
You know, and they would just apply all of like these medicines and like these ways of living and lifestyles. Like, even
it's not just appropriate.
Yeah, it's not appropriate. Like, even today I made a reel about how women and men need to learn to like self-regulate differently, and like hit and like cold plunges, it's actually not good for women's bodies. You know, and like fasting and these sorts of things, like a lot of the modern day health protocols that we've been told are the way to be healthier are actually just for men and not for women, and because they don't take into account a woman's cycle, you know, like.
Yeah, it makes sense how this ice bath can be good for the womb.
I know, I hate it. I hate getting into cold showers and cold waters of bodies of water. So really, it's about really finding that internal balance. I also don't understand why people don't like resting. Like, I get so, like, I love to just do nothing, actually.
Okay, there is a question there. What is the common philosophical foundation used to practice yoga and tantra? Okay, so Tantra can be learned. There are different schools of Tantra in India, like very classical ones. But you could say that Tantra, it's a deep understanding of Kundalini and how the Kundalini activates and integrates in the body. But there is also philosophical part of Tantra that you can find in, for example, Shivaist and Shaktism schools, for example. But this is like knowledge that is transmitted by teachers in codex and very specific, where you get initiation to have access to this knowledge. So it's not something that I would just share in a live here, but yeah. But there's also Tantra approaches in Egypt, for example, and also in different native traditions as well, from South America, from Aborigines, in also...
Yeah, you said, all ancient societies had this awareness.
Exactly.
And even modern science is catching up to this awareness. They speak about how the cerebrospinal fluid in our spine that transmits this information, transmits this energy. And it's really that it's about awakening this energy and activating it through these ecstatic states. It doesn't always have to be through, it can be through intense experiences like psychedelics, like
almost being close to death experience as well. That was my case.
Yes. Near-death experiences.
Because we also release DMT near-death experience through the body. Because the DMT actually, it's natural. It's natural produced by the body, so actually we just opened it. For example, we don't need to take ayahuasca to reach the DMT. We can also reach through breathwork, for example.
And even in your dream time, like if you connect with your dreams more, like that's where the DMT is released. Someone says, how can we reconnect with
there are some questions popping up.
How can we reconnect as a man?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a beautiful question.
You want to answer it?
I would say be humble, first of all, and realize that there is so much conditioning and brainwashing that you have to unlearn and get out of your system and out of your mind, and come to, first of all, learning from the women around you, listening more than you speak. And also then again, like connecting with your feminine energy as a man.
Especially, as I said, if you're curious about Tantra, for example, as I said before, in India, the Tantra wisdom was only allowed to be transmitted through the women. That's why after the colonialism in India, a lot of things were lost, because before that, and I heard this from an Indian person, the women were free with her breasts out, just like very similar with the natives from South America. But after all this colonialist bullshit repression, a lot of this wisdom was repressed and even lost, And the same, for example, with a practice that I had access recently, but this is a Mexican tradition, the moon dance, was only like reached back in the end of 90s from some abuelas, including the abuela of my lineage, Abuela Malinali. So actually we are, as you said, remembering those ancient practices now, because it's time to take this out of the box again, because all of this was power and precious wisdom taken not just from women, but from humanity, and a lot needs to be done still. We see our sisters in India or in Afghanistan, what is going on there with the Taliban. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And this hurts not only the feminine within the women, but also the planet, because the planet is a woman.
And the masculine.
Yeah. And the masculine, for sure.
Yeah, like patriarchy is not just hurt women, it's hurt men too. Because men are now disconnected from this power from within and from their bodies. Like, it's actually, you can explain it as simply as getting out of your head and into your body.
Look, there's another question here. How to reconnect as men daily stress of the many levels.
Oh, make time for yourself. Make time to love yourself. Make time to connect with yourself. Get out of your head and into your body. And that's not just like going to the gym. Like, do yoga, go outside, look, connect to the trees, connect to the plants, like give gratitude, give thanks, connect to Mother Earth as a being. We need to start remembering and seeing Mother Earth as a consciousness herself.
Yes.
And realize that just because she doesn't speak English or she doesn't speak vocal words doesn't mean she cannot communicate. She communicates with us all the time, and it's just about disconnecting from your rational mind and reconnecting with your creativity, your creative mind.
And also the what Mother Earth speaks is the same of the heartbeat, and heartbeat is the womb, is the same, is the drum, is the rhythm, you know. There is a rhythmic pulse coming from the center, from the lava deep in the center of the earth, that also brings the gravity, brings us back, like to step here, to be able to step in this earth with gentle feet, and to realize that we are a big organism, you know. We are all big organisms.
We are all connected.
All the biodiversity, all the biology, all the beings that we see around, we are all one, that we are now expanding, but at some point we are come back to one, just like everything was one before. This is the great mystery. This is Aum. This is the Om. That's why the Om all the time. And this all comes from this inner rhythm, from the heartbeat, because the heart, it's like our body is like a microsystem that is the same of them. So there is a sentence in Hermetic that says everything that is under is like everything that is above. So our body, it's a little microsystem that is the same of all the macrocosmos, like a microcosmos and microcosmos. So also when we reach our heart, we remember our essence, and we see God look into our heart as well. But the pure heart, the Atma, not the Ahankara, the ego, the true heart, the true self.
We also call this the higher heart as well.
Yeah.
And really to, reconnect with, sometimes you have to empty yourself. So someone here says, can this help with focus? So sometimes you have to empty your mind. You have to empty your body. You have to let go of everything that you think you know.
Tantra helps you especially to integrate with those true aspects of you, because you know we are light and dark, night and day at the same time. And this is about feminine and masculine energy, and when we do Tantra, we just integrate, and this brings us balance, because our bodies also all the time looking for the homeostasis, right? That is the balance of temperature. Is the same
balance of hormones, the balance
energy.
of fluids,
it's the same
of
talking
everything.
about energy. Yes.
And this is why your body is always trying to heal itself. Your body, because of the homeostasis, your body's always trying to achieve balance in hormones, in energy, in temperatures, in fluids, in salt to water, right? It's about the fact that your body knows how to heal itself. Your energies know how to balance themselves. You just have to get into the practices or the asanas or the energy flow that's going to allow that to happen. And so when we're living our very mechanical, wake up, go to work, do work, come home,
and also how we deal with health nowadays.
We're so on autopilot, right? We're on autopilot. We're not in connection.
And this is also about health. We learn how to condition our health and to treat, not to treat, but to just give a numbness state to the pain that we're feeling. And then we are in this constant state of numbness. But actually when we really look to this pain and we really want to heal, we're gonna always pass through a more intense process, because first we need to feel the pain, we need to feel this discomfort, and then to really heal it. Because if we just take like this allopathic medicine, we're gonna reach a state of numbness, and we don't want that. We want to real heal.
We want to heal at a root cause level. And I'm always speaking about this because modern modern medicine only treats the tip of the iceberg. It only treats the surface level symptoms, and the symptoms are not the cause. The symptoms are the expression of
your body. So
the body. The symptoms are the messages of the body saying, listen to me, there is something wrong. So anytime that you feel pain, or you mustn't hate your body, you must actually love your body, because the pain is your body's way of communicating to you. And unfortunately, we don't listen
and the pain,
until it's pain.
Exactly. And the pain, I mean, not the pain, but the disease in itself first manifests in the spirit.
Yeah,
in
it
the
always
in
starts
the spiritual body, the astral body,
the
and then
energetics.
comes to the physical. So also, if we are ignoring the environment where we are, because we don't feed ourselves just with the things that we eat, but everything we see, everything we hear, the environments that we are, everything, this is all part of the holistic health. So also, if we ignore that, if it is getting to a stage that is so advanced that then it's maybe too late, and this is what happened to me, this is what happened to you, and we don't want this to happen with you. So that's why we are talking these stories right now. We are spreading this wisdom, because we also learn through the pain in our bodies.
We are, don't read this. We are literally trying to help you not to get to this last point, because when like Julia said, when it gets into the physical body, this is the last level at which disease manifests. Like she said, first it's energetic or spiritual or astral, then it's mental, then it's emotional, and only then is it physical. And so when something is physical, that means that it's like, it's actually been, the problem has been happening for a long time. We're just not aware enough. We're not tapped in enough. We're not connected enough to our bodies, to our spirit, to our soul, to recognize that there is something wrong long ago, you know? Like there's a reason that you're getting sick, and it's probably because you've been ignoring all the other signs that have been coming to you before, leading up to this, right? We only notice the physical. Exactly. So as men, I highly recommend also doing Vipassana meditation. Is an incredible practice. It's quite an intensive 10-day silent meditation course. I did it about 2 years ago, and this is why meditation is so powerful, is because it attunes you to more subtle energies.
Oh my God, I did this last year, and the sensation was like a very slow ayahuasca ceremony. It was so difficult, but it was so purifying. I felt like such a deep purification. It was amazing.
Because it helps to unknot and unwind all what they call the sankharas, which are like the built up karmas over many lifetimes, over your lifetime. And so it starts to slowly come undone as you start to create more awareness, as you start to create more attunement. It's about attuning. It's about attuning your energy to be able to notice more subtle energies.
Fasting to help.
Fasting can help men for sure.
Fasting is amazing. Fasting, as you said, for example, women are not made for intermittent fasting, but men, they really can do it. And also the fasting puts you in the state of hunt, that before men used to have the hunger to receive the energy to hunt. So now also it's state of numbness, where we just like order a cheeseburger from our phones and we don't have to hunt anymore. And it's the same about dating. Men don't do any effort to have women anymore, because also we are living this fucking hookup culture that is bad for everyone. But I'm not ending to this topic. So basically, fast is really good because we'll put you into a state of go for your food, and brings your mind into a state of deep focus that you don't have usually if you're just like eating all the time and not giving space to your stomach to do that. And in the practice that I shared before in the moon dance, we stay for 4 days without eating, and also this brings us a lot of wisdom, because the fasting is a way to sacrifice as well. It's a self-sacrifice. You are denying to satisfy one of your basic needs. So this brings you certain illuminations. Well, all the great masters in earth, they did that. Jesus went to India for 40 days and fasting, walking to the desert. And all the masters, for example, also... the Japanese master that developed the Reiki, Uzui master, he went to a mountain for 21 days, no food, and that's how he received the symbols of healing from Reiki. So actually, fasting is really, really good.
Yeah, it's super powerful. And yes, this is a way of cleansing the mind. It's also a way of cleansing the body, because when you are not eating, your body can now send the energy that it usually takes for digestion processes to go into actually repairing and cellular repair. It's called, I think, ketogenesis, something like this. And or
it
ketosis
prevents from cancer, actually.
Yeah, it's an anti-cancer practice where like your body can now start to focus its energy on healing and cellular regeneration and detox protocols, rather than being focused on just eating, consuming and digesting that food as well. So definitely fasting is, I recommend it more for men than I do for women. Although if you are a woman and you want to fast, then you need to just be aware of which part of your cycle, rather fasting during your follicular and ovulation, not your luteal or your menstrual. So just being aware of your cycle and really getting in touch with that, and maybe speaking to a healthcare professional to help you do that properly. But yeah, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to share, like in terms of practical practices?
Practical practice.
Like your favorite ways to sink back and flow. Like maybe, like for example, if you're feeling like a little bit lost, or some anxiety is coming up, or you're starting to feel a bit lazy or sluggish, you know, and you feel like a little bit disconnected from your body, from your sensuality, from your life force, like what is your number one go-to to reconnect?
Yeah, when I feel like really low energy, when I'm not even capable to move, the first thing that I do is like sing. Because then that's the way also how I healed here, you know. Yeah. So also music, as I said before, music and dance, they are together. And music is also the fifth element, is akasha, is the ether. So also when we bring music to our lives, we are connecting the elements, the four elements together. This is what blends the four elements. So music can be also very, very healing, because it's the language that unifies us all and the universe. Everybody speaks music.
Yeah, you don't need to speak the same language in order to understand the same vibrations.
Exactly.
Yeah, so beautiful. Thank you so much, sister.
Thank you. It was so fast.
Good.
I want to talk more.
I know. You want to talk more? Maybe we can do another episode another time. But yeah, how can people connect with you? How can they find you? How can they work with you? Would love you to just share a little bit more.
So I have my Instagram there, Yogini Dancer. You can always reach me out through DM. I always read the DMs. But if you prefer also to write an email, I also have my website in my Instagram. I'm very active in Instagram, so yeah. I also keep updated like events in Berlin, and also when I'm traveling all over the world, and hopefully to do something with you soon.
Yes,
like
yes.
An event.
We're gonna do, if you're based in Berlin and you're listening or watching this, we're gonna do some events in Berlin. Julia also teaches at some dancing studios and yoga studios here. So yes, reach out to both of us, follow both of us, and we'll see you next time.
And if you lost this live, you can put it back.
We will save it. Yeah,
we're gonna save it. Yeah. So don't worry, you can
rewatch.
Watch it.
Okay, lots of love. See you soon.